Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel. First of all, sorry for this different angle. My tripod fell over and broke last week, so I'm just kind of using what I got to make this video until I can get a new one. This video is going to be a little bit different than my usual content of like thrifting hauls and all of that kind of stuff. I am actually going to be talking about my top 5 tips to be a successful seller on Poshmark. Now I know this video is not going to be for everyone, and no worries, I am not going to be turning this channel into a reseller's channel, but I figured since I have been selling on Poshmark for a little over a year now, most of that was kind of casually, just more of this year of 2021, I've been doing it a bit more seriously. I figured I would just kind of tell you guys the tips that I have learned along the way. So I kind of narrowed it down to 5 tips just to make this video not too chatty. But if you guys have any questions about something I may not have covered, feel free to leave it down in the comments. These are just the 5 tips that I feel are most important if you're just starting out, or maybe if you've been doing it for a little while and you want to get more serious about Poshmark and make some more sales. And these tips are in no particular order, but the one I'm starting off with I do feel is probably the most important just to make sales, and that is to share your items. I do feel that this should pretty much be your main focus if you want to really sell things on Poshmark, because if you're not sharing your items, the only people who are really going to be seeing them are the people who are following you, and it does take quite a bit of time to build up a following, and even when you get a decent following, that doesn't mean they really are interested in the things that you're offering. When you share your items on Poshmark, they get bumped to the top of the page of that search, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is, say I have an American Eagle shirt. When I share that American Eagle shirt, it gets bumped to the top of the American Eagle search page. So if somebody just types in American Eagle shirt, they'll be seeing yours. They don't have to be following you, it'll just pop up in that American Eagle section. And Poshmark has really tried to make their site and their app, because you can get it on your computer and also on your phone, they've really tried to make it kind of like a social media where you have like a news feed. But in my experience, I don't think people really just like go on the news feed and see what's on there. They're going to look for a specific item, so they're going on and they're searching American Eagle shirt. They're not just looking at what the people they're following have put up. You can share your items as many times as you want. If you only have like 10 items, I would recommend sharing them like 10 times a day because it doesn't take very long. If you're someone who has built up a little bit of an inventory, like for me, I think I have about 300 active listings right now. It does take a little bit of time to share everything, so I aim to share 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, like around lunchtime, and then also kind of later at night, like 9 o'clock, because I feel like that's the time that people are laying in bed and they're just kind of like scrolling through and seeing if there's anything they want to buy. They might be a little bit more likely to make an impulse purchase at that time. That's kind of been my experience. I make a lot of sales around that time of night. And going along with sharing your items, as I said, there is a desktop version of the site and there's also an app. When I first started out, I was just sharing on the app. I didn't really even think about the desktop, but it does take quite a bit longer to share your items on the app versus on the desktop. Like I would say I cut off about 5 minutes of sharing time. Now it probably takes me 5 minutes total to share about 300 items on my desktop, whereas it would take me like 10 to even 15 minutes to share all those items on the app. So while sometimes I still do that if I'm like in the car or something like that, or I'm waiting somewhere, I would definitely recommend just doing it on your computer. It's so much easier. Put on some music. It's just something that's become part of my daily routine. And I definitely notice a huge difference. Like if I'm really busy and I don't share my items for a few days, I'm usually not making a sale in that time if I haven't shared my items. But if I am sharing my items, I make a sale almost every single day, sometimes multiple sales a day. So for me, sharing is probably my #1 tip. I would also recommend that you invest in just a few simple, inexpensive items to really make your shop a little bit more professional. So one of the big things was something I didn't have for a very long time when I was selling more casually last year, but then when I finally got it, it was a huge game changer. And that is just a simple like seamstress measuring tape. You can get them for super cheap. I'll link the one that I got down below. I'll link everything that I'm talking about down below if I can. But I would highly recommend getting some kind of measuring tape so you can measure especially the pants. For me, I do sell a decent bit of vintage items, and as we know, vintage is crazy, it's all over the place. Sometimes it's oversized, a lot of times it's way undersized, so you want to make sure that you're giving people measurements so they know if it can fit them. Because on Poshmark, one of the bad things is, and I just experienced this very recently, if you get something and it doesn't fit you, that's not an acceptable reason to return items. You can really only return items if you receive them in a condition that the seller didn't say. But if it doesn't fit you, you're just kind of out of luck, and you can either try to resell it yourself or give it to someone else or give it to Goodwill. So I think just measuring, honestly, all of your items, even if they are more like fast fashion, like American Eagle, I just get in the habit of measuring all my items now. And that way I don't have to worry about pulling them out of the bin later when I've already like got them sorted and organized. If someone asks me a question about like how long something is or the measurements in the chest, I've already given it to them up front. I think it just makes you look a little bit more professional. I would also recommend investing in some kind of light. Now I have a pretty big light because I use them to make YouTube videos. But if you don't, you can definitely just get like a little selfie light to put on your phone. That's also a great thing to use. I have one of those as well. The selfie lights work super well and they're pretty inexpensive. I would also recommend investing in a few cute little packing supplies. That was something that I didn't really do at the beginning when I was doing more casually, just reselling like the stuff that I had. And that kind of goes into my third point of packaging your items well. And when people are buying secondhand, you want to kind of give them a reason to do that, right? When they're buying from American Eagle, it doesn't come in a cute package. But for me, I can use really cute things, I can write personal notes, things like that. It doesn't really cost me very much money at all to buy these things, but it makes a massive difference to the buyer. So when talking about specific packing supplies, I would recommend a cute little packing bag because most people are only going to be buying one thing from you, so you can just put it in a bag rather than in a decent sized box. I would also recommend getting kind of like a plastic slip so you can put the clothes in that so they don't get damaged. That was something I started doing just this year, and I think it has made a huge difference in how my buyers react to the packaging. I would recommend writing a little note. It just makes it a little bit more personal. I think people are more likely to come back to your shop if they feel some kind of little personal relationship with you. And also something that I do, something you definitely don't have to do, but kind of just a little nice extra thing. If I make more than like $12 on a sale, or if someone buys several items from me, if they make a bundle, I will often include like a face mask or even like a piece of jewelry, just something a little bit extra, like a little bit of a gift. Again, it's just something that obviously a fast fashion brand, any clothing brand, they're not sending gifts. So it's just a way to get your buyers to keep shopping secondhand, especially from you. Kind of going along with the packaging, I'll include it in the same tip. You want to make sure that you're providing the best customer service you can. If someone asks you a question, you want to make sure to answer it as quickly as you can. When you are responding to people, I would say you want to be warm and friendly, but not too pushy. Nobody likes that. For my fourth tip, I would say be careful on how much you're spending. Now, for me, for most of my experience on Poshmark, I have just been selling things that I've had in my closet or like my mom has given me to resell. So it doesn't really matter if I don't make too much off of it because I already wore it and I'm happy just to make a few bucks off of it, honestly. But now this year I have been getting items specifically to resell. So if I don't resell them, I'm losing money. So because of that, I obviously try to spend as little as I can getting my inventory. There are many different ways you can get items to resell, but the main way that I get items is just going thrifting, and I almost always go to my local Goodwill, and they have like items that are 50% off. So when I'm going thrifting just for resale, I usually try to only buy items that are 50% off. So I'm only buying like $2 or $3 items. Now I definitely will buy items that are full price if I think that I can get some money. Like if I can find like a Nike sports bra, they usually jack that up a little bit to like $5 or $6, but I can sell those pretty easily. Also, like American Eagle jeans sell really well for me, so I will buy those of the full price of $6 because I can usually make about $15 from them. So it kind of just depends, but for the most part, I definitely try to only spend like $2 or $3 per item. And my fifth tip is to pay attention to trends and what has and has not sold for you in the past. For me, I really want to get more into vintage items. I really like vintage items, but they don't sell that well for me. I definitely have sold a few and I've made a good bit of money off of my vintage items, so I definitely will still pick up some, but the reality of the situation is that things like American Eagle jeans, Aerie sweatshirts, Nike sports bras, these are the things that actually sell very well for me. So even though I might not be making a huge profit on them, I know that they're gonna sell. So that's the kind of things that I'm focusing on picking up more. And it's gonna take some time to figure out what's gonna sell for you. Not everything in your closet is going to sell. Some things take months and months to sell. Sometimes I'm like about to take something down and go sell it through ThredUp or through Plato's Closet, and then it sells like 6 months later. So while I would not say to hoard everything, especially if you don't have room in your house, just be aware that some things will sell like 6 months later. So those were my main tips, my top 5 tips for selling on Poshmark. I hope it helps you. I hope this video is interesting to you. And like I said, if you have any other questions for me, please leave them down below. I'm by no means like a professional Poshmark seller. I very much do it part-time. I very much have only been taking it seriously pretty much this year, but it's something that I enjoy doing very much, and it's something that I have made a decent bit of money on. So I would recommend doing it. If you're thinking about it, absolutely sell the clothes in your closet that you're not interested in. But also, if you like to thrift, I think that's a great way to kind of get your fix of thrifting while also making some money. But if you like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. I make new videos every Monday and Friday, so be sure to stick around. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!